Podcast. It's your host Brian and Craig. Craig, brother man, how's it going?
How you doing, sir?
Doing good, doing good. Well, we got a episode 181 on the Outspoken Network here, Sportscast edition for you. We got talks on Tuesday, the Wild Card Roundup. I think the Wild Card weekend lived up to its name. When you can say it's wow, it's some good games. We're gonna break those down for you, and we got some headlines of the week, and then Craig's gonna give us his hockey hat trick to give us an update on the NHL right after this. All right, guys, welcome in. We had a great weekend. Hopefully, your weekend was great. Hopefully, you'll be able to sit down and watch these great wild card games because, Craig, we have had quite a few that we expected to kind of be blowouts that really weren't and a lot closer than we expected.
The only one that I didn't expect to be the blowout was kind of blowout.
Yeah,
So
you're right. And that's funny how things work out. Let's get into these games, guys, though. We got the first game of the week was the 49ers and Seahawks. And this is a game where in the first half, Seattle was right there. They were they went to half leading by a point. This was the tell of two halves. They were up 17-16 at half, but they gave up 18 fourth quarter points. This defense came alive. The biggest turning point in this game to me was when Geno fumbled the football. Was they were driving down. He fumbled the football. And it kind of gave all the momentum back to the 49ers. They went up by 2 scores, and it was kind of over at that point. It ended up being a blowout at the end of the day.
that or when Debo ran 847 yards on a screen pass. So,
and that's what makes this team so deadly is if you don't tackle them, it's over. And look, Brock Purdy.
McCaffrey can spin and cut, and he took a what should have been just a normal 5-yard run and turned it into 66 to start the game. And then Samuel out of the backfield, and it's a dangerous Swiss Army knife offense.
This is what makes him. It's kind of like a pick your poison because
it is.
You look at this game. Christian McCaffrey went off on rushing the ball. He had 15 carries, 119 yards, and Deebo Samuel only rushed the ball 3 times for 30. But then you go look at the receiving yards. Deebo was 6 for 133, and you still got Christian McCaffrey. It was only 217, but they're both adding to both those positions.
Which 80 of that though, or 75 of that of the 130 was on one play.
Yeah, and that's their home run ability every time they catch the ball. And Brock Purdy, got to give him hats off. He 332 yards, 3 touchdowns, only sacked once.
Should have thrown a couple picks, but Seattle dropped the ball. But still, overall, played really, really well. Doesn't look like the playoff lights are going to be too bright for him. So we'll see. They haven't really played. When you look at that schedule, they haven't played a real top 10 defense, so we will see what this weekend brings.
Yeah, when they go play, we'll see when they go play the Cowboys and what the pressure is going to do to Brock Purdy and I just think out of the NFC teams left, I think this is the best coached, and I think so. Shanahan's offense and his system that he runs there is perfect for a quarterback that with inexperience that can, if as long as he does what he doesn't kill him and he works within the system, I think they're going to be well off. But what we've seen Brock Purdy do is he's not afraid to chunk that ball, and it's not just a dink and dunk here. He takes his shots, and he gets the ball where it needs to go. So he's making good decisions with football. But next week will definitely be a difficult one. We knew that we all went in knowing that the 49ers were pretty much going to walk away with this. The first half,
in the end, it turned out to be much more the score that you thought it was going to be.
Yeah, the first half we're like, okay, Seattle came to fight, and the second half was just too much for them. And DK Metcalf had a great game, 10 catches for 136 yards. He was trying to take over the game, but it's hard to do as a wide receiver to take over the football game. But they're moving on next week. You had the craziest game of the weekend, in my opinion, the Jaguars game.
Oh, and I turned it off. It's 27-0. I was like, I'm gonna go watch something else.
Yeah, well,
and then my phone started blowing up, and I'm like, huh, what? What is this? So I turned it back on, and
Craig, that night I would have watched the whole game, but I told my daughters we'd have I got 4 girls, okay, and we have a big girl daddy night every now and then, or a big girl mommy night, where I could take the bigger girls and we go have a slumber party with popcorn and watch a movie. And I promised them I would. So at a certain point, after his 3rd interception, I said, all right, let's go start this. Let's go to bed. I woke up in the morning and I was absolutely shocked. Well, I Facebooked out that we were watching Trevor Lawrence melt in front of our eyes. He's having a meltdown. And it was the other side of the football. The Chargers had the complete meltdown. You had 5 turnovers. Trevor Lawrence, I got to give this guy props. I know you don't really care for him, but I got to give him props if he never gave up. Quarterback goes out there and throws four interceptions and still has the gut, to gut it out and say, okay, guys, lead the team. The team could have easily quit. They didn't quit. Doug Peterson didn't let him quit. And the Chargers stopped playing. They just said, we pretty much got this game in hand, and they only scored 3 points in the second half. Herbert's got to be. I'm looking at Herbert now, going, okay, what is going on with this guy? He has the ability to make every throw. He makes throws other quarterbacks can't sometimes, but there's something off. There's something off. I don't know if it's the it factor. I don't know if it's being able to close out games, if it's being able to answer the moment. But Jacksonville answered the moment, and they're going on.
I wonder if the multiple offenses that he's tried to run since they switched coaching so much in San Diego, if that's the problem. Like you see with the other guys that have had several, like Baker Mayfield, who's had 7 different coordinators and 7 different head coaches, and it never seems like you can't learn a playbook. You can't learn a deal. So I'm wondering if that doesn't have something to do with it, because they just fired the offensive coordinator again today and the quarterback coach. So it looks like he's going to have an all new system to learn in the offseason. And so I wonder if that's not part of it.
Oh, that's definitely
talent-wise.
Yeah.
Talent-wise, the guy checks all the boxes.
No, definitely, and that's why,
it's so head-scratching. But
it is.
The team has had this snake bite mentality. When Brandon Staley took over, he said, "Well, this team always has a way of charging it up, and we're going to change that mentality. We're going to change that deal." And here it is, 2 seasons in, and he hasn't changed it. He's suffering from the same thing. So that tells me that it's something more than coaching.
Yeah, it could be a mental thing. They've always been that way. And look, we got the board over here of hot takes, and Jeff was probably the most spot on. This is the most spot on thing. And I called him today, actually, and he said, I told you. they find a way to charger it up, and to blow a 27-point lead when you've been given 5 turnovers is crazy. And I think the biggest turnaround has been from Trevor Lawrence this season, as far as what he was last year. He's led the league in QBR since week 6 or 7, finishing off the season. He's led the league in QBR and led a lot of stats and been in top of this and top of that. So I'm not ready to kind of give him that throne yet that he kind of came in on, but he's looking in the right direction, and that's got to be kudos to Doug Peterson, a quarterback-friendly coach.
No, absolutely.
So
this team had 2 wins last year, and they now have 9, and then they win a playoff game. So
Now,
interesting to see. He has the stat of he's never lost on a Saturday.
Yes, that's
and
exactly where it's going.
He's going to play Patrick Mahomes on Saturday night. He goes and pulls that rabbit out of his hat, and the Saturday night stat, they're going to want to move the Super Bowl to Saturday because he's never lost on a Saturday and forever.
Now, I tell you this, you give Patrick Mahomes 5 turnovers, you're not winning that football game.
100%.
You're just not doing it.
Yeah, no.
But
if you throw one, you're gonna have
yeah, that's tough. And beating the Chiefs at home be tough. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't.
I would love to see it, but I we'll get into our picks at the end of the week here. But if let me ask you this: if the Jacksonville Jaguars go in, beat the Chiefs, Trevor Lawrence throws for 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Then will you go? Okay, maybe this guy's arrived.
I mean, yeah. I mean, the fact that he came back and threw for 4 touchdowns and brought the team back, even though it's against the Chargers, who like to somehow make other teams deal. That's still impressive to be able to check out of that and not let that mentally break you. A lot of quarterbacks, especially young ones, would have deal. A lot of coaches would have made a change like you do a goalie in hockey when you let up 4 or 5 goals. You normally go to the backup, and so I'm surprised that Peterson stuck with him and never tried to spark the offense and go into the back. I don't even know who the backup is in Jacksonville, but it's impressive. It's impressive that he had the mental fortitude to be able to overcome that and deal. Listen, the kid's not terrible. It was when he comes out in the draft and he's the second coming of, Joe
Manning.
Montana and Peyton Manning, and they did the same thing with Tebow. And I said the same thing with Tebow. Like, he's going to be a bust because college and NFL and he just, and maybe Urban Meyer ruined him, and Peterson is now unlocking the things that deal, because he had several to go down the stretch. I understand they were 2-7 at one point in time, and won 5 in a row to 5 in a row or 6 in a row to win the division. I mean, that's impressive in the NFL to win 6 games. I don't care who you're playing. I mean, the San Francisco 49ers may have played the same 9 teams over and over again, played Seattle a couple times, Arizona a couple times, the Rams. They played, they still won 11 games straight. They still are the hottest team in football right now. So, I mean, you can only play who's in front of you. And Jacksonville's done that. And Trevor Lawrence, 100%, didn't give up and threw 4 touchdowns on the heels of throwing 4 picks. So,
and we got kudos to also you got Evan Ingram, who played for Ryan. We'll
get there. We'll get there,
Ryan, chill your butt out.
Hey, at least your birthday didn't get ruined.
Chill your butt out. Evan Ingram, a guy who came from the Giants organization, who was nothing. He had 7 catches for 93 yards. Christian Kirk played well. They had three receivers go for 70
Jones
or more.
Is somebody who you've never even heard of, and he gets to Jacksonville, and he's been a very, very solid option.
Patrick, good to see you here. Good to see you here, Ryan. We'll talk Cowboys when we get there. We're not on there, so try and keep the comments going with the theme here, guys. Yes, Patrick says get Casey out of there. Go Jags. We're gonna don't put any Cowboy stuff up until we actually get to the game, because that just throws off the whole freaking show. But Jacksonville will move on, and I'm hoping they pull the upset, but I doubt that they will. And then you go to Sunday, and we all picked the Bills to win, which they did. They won 34-31. But after it was 17-0, and after the Miami Dolphins started coming back, I go, okay, I want to see this upset. They're playing hard. They're on a rookie quarterback. His dad's in the stands. Yeah. He's playing pretty well for a rookie.
He played a whole lot better that day than I watched the Jets game, and he looked like he was not a college quarterback, let alone an NFL quarterback. And Saturday, he threw the first play of the game. He throws a 50-yard seed and hits Jalen Waddle in his hands, and Waddle just and fumbles it and drops it. And Waddle had 4 drops that I saw in deal, and I kind of checked out of this game for a little while. But in the end, first of all, the refs put the whistles in their pockets. I don't know what was going on. On multiple occasions, you had plays that the one of the two teams called timeout, and then they started running the play, and then they go, "Oh, he called timeout." Well, then why are we letting them run the play? Like, and on the 4th and an inch, they let it. Miami doesn't even.
What are we doing?
Miami doesn't even break the huddle till there's 4 seconds left in the thing. I'm going, you don't have any timeouts. There's no way you're going to get it off. They somehow speed run to the line, and the refs give them, it goes to 0, and it goes another 3 or 4 seconds before deal. They finally snap the ball, and then the running back is blown up, and they blow it dead. And then they come back, and I guess didn't change the play. And so the 4th and an inch play was the 4th and 6 play, and they get blown up there, and the game's over. And
it was weird because they had a good game plan. They went in really well, and in the 4th quarter when it mattered,
and I thought at midfield with 4th and an inch, they're driving. They had Buffalo on their heels, and I'm going, here it comes. And that last sequence was not on McDaniel,
or at least to tie the game, because
that's what I'm saying. That was bad sequence by McDaniel.
He said came out and talked about it today or the other day, and said that they thought they got the first. There was a mix up on it. First down, or
that's a terrible
4th down, and then you go. What the problem is Tyreek Hill drop passes, Waddle drop passes. Yes. They were pit right there.
Yeah.
And on that 4th and 6 play, if the rookie quarterback stays in the pocket 2 more seconds, Tyreek Hill is right across the middle, wide open.
Oh,
but he bails out early and throws it to a congested player, and it gets knocked down. And I tell you what, the Bills go in playing the Bengals like this next week, where Josh Allen has 3 turnovers. They're not coming away from
this. The revenge tour will be over.
They are not coming away from this. And he threw that.
I'm still very upset at the NFL for not having that at a neutral site. That's the game that should have been in the neutral site.
That should be a neutral site, not Kansas City.
The Kansas City game. Kansas City wasn't in the equation.
Kansas
City wasn't even in the equation.
Well, you're exactly right. It should be at a neutral field.
Because this game with that determined home field, this one didn't get played. And it looked like, and I understand there was three and a half quarters left winning the thing, but Cincinnati had already scored and were driving to score again. And so it looked like Cincinnati had the upper hand in that game, and now they have to go to Buffalo and play in the cold weather. And to me, they got a bad draw. But if Buffalo looks like they did, they better bring Damar Hamlin into the stadium on Saturday, because if they look like they did, Josh Allen, I still think is not right. I still think that elbow, that UCL, is bothering him.
Well,
because some of the throws he's making are just not Josh Allen.
It's like when they went up 17-0, he tried to throw that bomb and got picked off. That's kind of what led this comeback.
Yep.
And it's kind of like he got lackadaisical here, tossed it up, interception. Oh, we're up 17, no big deal. And you turn around and all of a sudden the game's tied. And it's like, what just happened? They the Dolphins opened up the second quarter with a strip sack on Josh Allen, which was then returned for a touchdown. And they go up, and you're going, oh my gosh, are we going to see one of the biggest upsets? And kudos for Miami's head coach McDaniels for coaching 98% of the game really well. It's that last drive was just
and they used their timeouts.
Terrible.
They used their timeouts over the course of the deal, and didn't have any, and it's just a bad look. The time management and time management will kill you in the playoffs. Time management will rear its ugly head and kill you in the playoffs.
Yeah, Patrick, you make a good point there. The Bengals better play better than they did against the Ravens. Both these teams kind of underachieved.
100%.
And we'll get into that in a second here. The next game, though, I mean, we were all 100% on our picks this week, Craig, except this game for you. You picked the Vikings to win. The Giants came in and got it done, 31-20-24.
Yeah, and like I said, did I think the Giants could come in and win? Yes. I was just from a Cowboy fan standpoint. I didn't want to have to go play San Francisco. I much rather wanted to go play Jalen Hurts in Philly, and that's why I thought Minnesota would hopefully win. And Kirk Cousins it up and
Daniel Jones
down his leg.
Doing things that no one else has been done. It's been done before in the playoffs. He had over 300 yards in the air, and he was a leading rusher with 78 yards. They did not put a spy on him. They let him run all over him.
Huh. Someone else had similar stats to that.
He dominated.
He did.
Isaiah Hodgins went off for 105 yards. Darius Slayton at 88 yards. Justin Jefferson disappeared.
He did.
Disappeared. Dalvin Cook only had 60 yards rushing. They weren't able to run the ball, and when you rely all on Kirk Cousins, it's not going to turn out all that well for you. They were frauds. I told you guys they were frauds. The Giants, I'm not saying they're not frauds as well, but you got Brian Daboll's coach of the year
lately.
Coach of the year. This team was supposed to be one of the dead last in the league, and they have a playoff win and moving on to the next round as Kirk Cousins. It's 4th and 8 for your season, and you throw a 3-yard dump off pass to your tight end. What are you thinking?
Did you read? I know it was one of the joke websites, but did you know that I saw 2 different things that came out, and it said one of them that he threw it 3 yards for the show Damar Hamlin Love, and that's why he threw it 3 yards on 4th and 8, and then the other. And then the other one was I had 2 choices. I could go on vacation. I could go on a 234-day vacation and have beers served to me, or I could go to Philadelphia and have them thrown at me. I'd rather have them served to me on the beach.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, they were talking about Kirk Cousins got to give those chains back.
Yeah.
Oh, that's excellent. I love it. I can't stand the Vikings. They're kind of like the Eagles to you. Well, they're my team. I can't stand. And I'm glad to see the frauds are going home. But the Giants and Dayball dropped his balls on the table. He went for it he went for it on 4th down twice in the 4th quarter, kind of stilled the game up, and they're moving on. And that Eagles Giants game is gonna be a lot better than most people think. And it's Saturday night.
That's not the team Philly wanted to see.
It's a get your popcorn ready kind of game, because that's gonna be a dog fight.
If that shoulder is still sore, you're gonna know, because Snow Angel over there is gonna land on it a couple times and and lay next to Jalen Hurts while his shoulder is like and Snow Angel over there is going to go there.
Thing I've seen all season. It's Snow Angel is one of the quarterbacks having convulsions.
The trainer's over there trying to get to this guy, and he's Snow Angeling it up.
That's classic Savage, and then he came out and doubled down on it, just perfect.
Almost as nice as Micah Parsons walking through the huddle last night, and then acting like he was Luka and getting shot. Because they touched him. The ref's like, well, you were in their huddle, bro. Like, I'm not going to throw the flag. Like, you really didn't belong in there.
Ryan Sims makes a good point here. You know what happened, Alan? The ball left, and that could be a good point. That could be a good point for the Josh Allen, but when the Bills, I know we're going back here the other game, but when the Bills start of the season, it kind of looked like they were a juggernaut, and then it kind of looked like something just kind of slipped, and it started kind of with the injury. So,
I think it's more the injury than it is day ball, but who knows? I mean, again, when you're
well, continue your thought there, Craig.
It's just like we said before with coaching and changing offensive systems. It could be the same thing that a new system comes in and gums it up. We'll see.
Oh, Peterson. He said Peterson. I was like to say that made no sense, Ryan. My coach of the year, and it's probably going to be Sirianni from the Eagles. I don't see how it could not be. But my coach would have to be the ball,
which I believe. I mean, we all when the guy from Sports Illustrated picked Philadelphia, we were laughing. I mean, we were just laughing all the way to the house that Philadelphia was going to be the in the NFC Championship. We were just, laughing because it was a joke. Obviously, he knew something because I didn't see that coming.
Well, no, I'm telling you what. I'll tell you right now. I did not believe in Jalen Hurts.
No, that's what I'm saying. I thought I'd have bet the farm that he wasn't going to be an MVP candidate and take this team to 13 wins or 14 wins. I would have never guessed that.
He made the biggest jump of the season 100%. From anybody, and there's really no argument there.
Almost a similar jump to what Josh Allen made a couple years ago, when he went to Carson Palmer's brother there. Jesse Palmer went and worked with Josh Allen, and all of a sudden he becomes some super accurate. Josh Allen used to be hideous the first year.
He overthrew guys by 10 yards. You're like, bro, calm down there, homie.
Yeah, he had a cannon, but he was not accurate. He was not no touch, no nothing.
Yeah,
and he works with Jesse Palmer, and all of a sudden, he's some QB whisperer.
That's what I really like about Josh Allen is you can literally see his progression from year to year, literally, and where he's gotten to be a good quarterback. But let's move on to the next game. These divisional playoff games are where it's at. It's something that you don't want to face. I mean,
super chippy.
You don't.
The word go
close matchups. And the Bengals should have lost this game to the Ravens. 100%. They won on a fluky play because Huntley didn't know that he can't leap over a huddle on the third yard line.
And can't jump from the 5 and make it to the end zone.
Tyler Huntley outplays Joe Burrow. He throws for more yards. It's 2 touchdowns. Joe Burrow only had 1. And this is where, if you're a Ravens fan, you're absolutely livid with Lamar Jackson. If he plays this football game, you win. Bottom line. Hey, Lamar, how about you show up to the sidelines and support your dadgum team?
Didn't even get on the plane.
Hey, how about you say, hey, Brett Huntley or Tyler Huntley, you cannot leap over the whole defensive line on the 3rd yard marker.
Yeah.
What? This is an absolute. I cannot stand Lamar Jackson, and I refuse to cheer for this guy.
No, yeah.
The Baltimore Ravens fans have got to be,
and they're saying that he might be in San Francisco next year. I don't know what San Francisco's doing. Like, they have a guy that they gave up $1.5 million draft picks for to make him the starter. Now they got this Brock Purdy, and he's undefeated, tearing it up. They still got Garoppolo. And now they're in the midst for Brady and in the midst for Lamar. Like, you can't have 37 quarterbacks, Shanahan. Like, what are we doing? Just pick one guy.
I don't see how you get rid of Purdy.
I don't
if he takes you to the Super Bowl, huh? Well, heck, Jimmy Garoppolo takes people to the Super Bowl, and they just want to get rid of him. I understand that.
That's what I'm trying to. I don't understand. Like, what more do you want from the guy behind center? Is you got a guy that takes you to the Super Bowl, you pay him a bunch of money, and then, now we're going to draft Lance. Now we hit this Mr. Irrelevant, and we hit lightning in a bottle, and now he wants to come in and lead us to the Super Bowl. Like, I would guess if Garoppolo come out right now and said my ankle is healed, I didn't need surgery, I'm okay, Shanahan's going to smack him in his ankle like Nancy Kerrigan and tell him to go sit back down. And he's going to Tanya Harding him and tell him to go sit back down because Brock Purdy is in here, tearing the league up. You're gonna see Shanahan over on the sideline with a baton over there beating, his quarterback beating Garoppolo to make sure he doesn't come back for the NFC Championship game. Run him over the bus. Yeah. He's like, no, Garoppolo who? I don't even know. He's not even here.
Yeah, we sent him packing.
Yeah.
You want to know? You want to know my honest opinion? I think Tom Brady's the quarterback for the 49ers next year.
100%.
And Purdy is sitting on the bench right behind him, waiting there.
Mad.
And Lance is out the door.
I just took you to the Super Bowl, and I don't understand.
I'm gonna vomit. I'm gonna vomit if Brady gets to go there and have the best defense in the league again. I'm gonna throw up
and win another Super Bowl.
I'm gonna throw up.
I'm the GOAT.
I'm gonna throw up.
It's over. What I saw last night, it's over.
Well, all he has to do is hand the ball off in the 49ers and play good defense.
Yeah, I know.
But I'm just gonna calm down because
toss it to Debo and toss it to Christian McCaffrey.
We have a whole off season. But Ryan's right. Cool Joe always seems to figure out a way to win, and they won this game. And I guarantee you, the Chiefs were watching these games, and they
Joe
set back.
Really do that. He didn't have the 98-yard fumble return, but
he was cheering him on the sideline with a cigar in his mouth.
I like the whole block in the back that was not called. That was cool.
Now, I bet you that the Chiefs were going, "This is great."
Yeah, no.
Bills barely beat Miami.
Yep.
The Bengals barely beat the
Baltimore.
Ravens.
Yeah.
But let me remind you this: the Bengals barely beat the Titans last year in the playoffs when they still made a Super Bowl. So
I agree.
Who knows
what I had to pick? If I had to pick right now, that is the team that I think might come out of the AFC.
I agree. Brady's not going to the 49ers. I hope not, because
I hope you're correct.
I will literally
I hope he
sick.
Retires.
He's going to the Raiders. That's a familiar.
It is. With McDaniel, yes, he could go in there and run it today.
And he'll have the number one wide receiver in the NFL.
That would make sense.
Devontae Adams.
That would make sense.
That would make sense. But he's always dreamed about being a 49er. He's a 49er. He grew up a 49er fan. I just don't know. They trade Garoppolo next year. I don't know how you can't go with Purdy. GM's probably going to go, we got to give Lance a try. I don't need to see Lance. We've seen what Purdy can do. Wes Cutter, I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do, but they have
that many quarterbacks on the roster. You can't have 3 and 4 guys on the roster.
No, they're in a good situation.
And if you put Purdy or Lance on the practice squad, they'll be picked up in a blink.
I'd rather have too many quarterbacks than only have one.
Remember the rule, though.
If you don't, the rule is
if you have more than one, you don't have
any. They just need to stick their foot down and say we're going with Purdy. I don't know how this guy can come in here and do this.
Trade talks, yes,
and not
Trey. Here's your clipboard, Jimmy. There's the bus.
I hope, because this all started with Baltimore and Lamar Jackson. I hope Baltimore grows a pair of nuts and says,
"Oh, he's done. He will not be a Baltimore Raven next year."
I hope.
Mark it right now. Put it on the hot take board.
They're gonna put him down. They're gonna put him down as a franchise tag.
Nope.
And he's going to refuse to play on it.
I don't think they do that. I think Baltimore is done with what he just did. I think they're done.
I don't
think they tell Lamar happy trails.
I will be I will cheer for the Raiders when Green Bay is not. That would be awesome. I've been waiting for a team to do this. I wish Arizona did it with the entitled.
I thought they would.
Freaking midget out there.
Yeah.
And Kyle Murray,
tiny person,
and they did. Sorry, that slipped. My bad. I hope the Ravens do, and they're the kind of organization that would have the balls to do so. Yeah, you would have to franchise them and then trade them. You cannot let them walk out for free. Hey, but Green Bay's about to let their washed-up quarterback go out the door for free, and then we're going to owe him $60 million.
Yeah,
that's beside the point.
I don't. I get his point. I just don't think they want, because if he doesn't want to go somewhere, there's no trade clauses, and it gets real weird. I just do. If I'm, because the franchise tag for a quarterback, courtesy of all these guys getting paid, is a lot of money.
Yeah,
and so I just don't
you
think
can't let him
Baltimore
walk,
wants to
though.
take that.
You cannot let him walk. There's no organization in the right mind just to let him walk out the door because they're pissed. You play it smartly. As Jerry Jones would say, you can't let your money be angry, right?
You left my football team. You left my football team hanging in a playoff game.
I want to know how the fans feel. I wish I knew.
If I'm a Baltimore fan, I'm very upset.
I'm throwing away my jersey.
Yeah.
You put on the team.
Yeah. 100%.
And I'm gonna trust me. I'm gonna go off on a solo shot episode and go into this, because it's absolutely asinine. This guy's not. Can't even go to the sideline.
If they can prove that, then no way they sign him.
Well, I mean, there's no. I think they already have it made up in their mind that they
had doctors. The doctors could have gone to the coaching staff and said he could have played. If they said that, then yeah, no.
All right. Well, the blowout of the weekend, the Cowboys take care of business last night, and we all we predicted this. The Cowboys would win. I didn't know if it was going to be close or not.
I did not see that coming.
Brady looked
overwhelmed.
Oh my gosh, he did not look good at all last night. I stayed up. I watched
passes.
66, the most he's ever thrown.
He threw the ball 66 times.
You're asking.
I wonder why Byron Leftwich got fired today, because the Cowboys' defensive MO is they can't stop the run, and you let old man Winter, who's 45 years old, throw the ball 66 times.
Ryan's going, y'all should have started with this. Here we go. He's ready for the Cowboy talk. Hey, Kat, glad to have you back on. He said, but that kicker. Yes, the kicker is an issue. But
could be a problem.
We are giving the Cowboys a praise right now. We'll get into the problems here in a second. No, they did a good job. Look, they were the better team. And when we talked about this last week, picking this game, I told you they had the better team, but what Cowboy team is going to show up? The inconsistency is the problem with the Cowboys, and that's what's always been their problem. Dak played the best game of his career. He came out. I told you it was a prove-it game for Dak. He came out and proved it. Is Tampa Bay a juggernaut? No. They're 8-9. They're not all that great, but it is Tom Brady in the playoffs. I wasn't going to count them out, and they got the job done.
It's the same defense that in week 1, though, you only put up 6 points.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, it is, but it's hard to go from game 1 to get, this is week 19 and have comparisons.
Yeah.
But a lot of things change. Parsons had 8 pressures, 3 hurries, 2 tackles for loss, and no missed tackles. Parsons is an absolute beast, and he should be Defensive Player of the Year if he wasn't banged up. He's not Defensive Player of the Year this year, but he's an absolute beast. He needs to show up for the playoffs. He kind of dropped off the last couple of weeks. And it's always a weird. This is what I'll give the Dallas Cowboys. It's always a weird. Is he hurt? Is he not? We're not going to say he's hurt, but we can't.
I thought he broke his leg last night.
It's a little weird, but
I thought he broke his leg last night. He whips his leg around, and his shin hits the lineman of Tampa, and the shins hit together, and they had to carry him to the locker room at halftime. It was not pretty, and but he came out in the second half and did his job. And
now, I did not watch this game. When I was going to bed, I watched the first 2 drives of Dallas, and they didn't look good. I was like, uh-oh, this don't look too good. I went to bed and woke up and was like, holy crap, they got it together, because that Maher, was it kicking on grass? Was it the yips? They play on grass next week, so you better hope he better snap out of it.
Yeah, and here's the deal, though. He kicked 1 extra point in Washington, and he missed that. So it was really 5 in a row.
5 in a row.
Before he made one. And so and they said that leading up, I heard on the radio today that leading up, he had a horrible week of practice. But then they said at halftime, he was out there banging them through again, and they thought he got it worked out. But the best part of the whole game was when it is 4th and 4. Cowboys are on about the 23-yard line, and special teams coach goes and sends the field goal kicking out there. McCarthy goes, no. And the special team coach slams his thing down and goes, my guy's going to kick the field goal. And McCarthy goes, no, he sits right here. The next play, they throw a crossing route to CD Lamb, and he walks into the end zone. And then he goes, now he can go try it. and deal. McCarthy had no faith in him. And when he missed the fourth one and hit the upright, Dak Prescott, Joey boasted his helmet into the bench and smashes his helmet down. He goes, why aren't we bleeping going for two?
That's the funny part, because after the end of the game,
he went up and apologized to Maher later and said, hey, I didn't say you sucked. I was just.
That's what I was laughing at, because
he
comes out, he's like, yeah, I played like crap last week. We need Maher next week, blah, blah, blah. And didn't they play the video of him like smashing his helmet on the sideline?
But the bottom line is, this happened. If you remember, Maher was the Dallas Cowboys kicker a long time ago.
Yeah.
And they had to cut him because it used to be he could, from 25 and 30, he'd miss, but from 60, he was money. And when he came back this year, he was 90-something% this year. He has been money all year long. And I had forgotten that he missed the one in the Washington game until I went back and re-looked, and somebody said something. That, to me, you can't go into this game. Now, Jerry said today, the night before, they were all, Maher's our guy, da-da-da-da-da. But then today, Jerry and Steven both did not deny that there wouldn't be a second kicker on the roster. My problem with that is you roster spots. Well, no, that too. But, I mean, you're in the playoffs, and you need all hands on deck. And to put an extra roster spot that you could use for a safety or use as a special teams guy or whatever. Who are you taking off the roster to put a second kicker that you may or may not need? Because are you going to let Maher kick the first two and see if he can do it, or are you just going to go with the other guy and take him off the roster? It's a no-win situation. And if you have another guy come in, if they hold tryouts this week and have another deal, Maher's done. Because his confidence, when he sees some other guy walk on the field with a helmet and a kicking ball. Now my whole thing was Christy Scales is on the sideline, and I guess each team has a number of designated kicking balls.
Funny balls, yes.
And she comes on the thing and says, he's missed these so bad that he's missing the net, and they're going into the crowd, and the Cowboys aren't sure that they're having enough K-balls left to finish this game. And people go, what? K-balls. And so I guess there's balls that are designated.
Oh, yeah. You didn't know that? Yeah, they have certain balls that are designated for kicking. And then they kick the ball off, and then they'll switch the ball out.
Yeah, but I mean, I didn't realize. I mean, I understand that, but I didn't understand that each team, like we can't go and get one from Tampa and put it on the. I didn't realize that they had designated ones.
I think each team has to bring their own, like a numbered many of their own, and they use those. I don't know, really.
Yeah, but I mean, what would have happened if he kept Shankopotamus in him?
Could you imagine? They had a forfeit.
You can't. Sorry, guys.
You're up 30. You're up 28-0, but you had to forfeit the game. What?
The Dallas Cowboys forfeited after being up 31-14 because they ran out of K-balls.
A Dallas Cowboy way to end it. Yeah, just like Charger ended up. I just don't understand. Tampa only rushed the ball 12 times. What in the world? Insane.
That's what I'm trying to say. That's why Byron Leftwich got fired today. You have a team who you ran in the opening day. You ran 150 yards. Leonard Fournette carried the ball 5 times. 5.
He ran all over Dallas and didn't do it all season long.
150 yards in opening day. And you gave him 5 carries. It's a terrible plan.
Dalton Schultz, your leading receiver, he is glad that Dak is back because he 100%. Didn't get used.
Cooper Rush did not know what the name tag looked like. He could not throw a ball.
He didn't know what a tight end was.
No, I did not know him and Fender shot and Hendershot. He didn't know what those guys were.
He's going to get paid by someone else next year. We already talked about him leaving.
I believe so.
Because the guy you have behind him, I don't know his name, but they say he's
or Ferguson. Ferguson.
Comeback player of the year for you guys has got to be Leighton Vander Esch. This guy is very valuable. I remember when he came into the season, when he came into the NFL, he was, oh my gosh, this is guy's a beast. Then he kind of went downhill, and this year you kind of see a resurgence of him. The defense is totally different when he's off the field.
They did not pick up his 5th-year option, and so he's a free agent at the end of the year. So now he's on the pay. He's going to want money because he's had a great year, and he holds all the cards right now because the 2 or 3 weeks he missed. Look what that defense looked like. It looked like it was broken. It looked like it was deal, and he lines these guys up. He is the guy with the plays in his ear. He is the guy that gets everybody lined up, and he has been the 100% MVP of that defense, other than maybe Jaron Kearse, who you hope that knee is okay to play on Sunday because you're going to need him. You're going to need him.
Yeah, I think having Leighton there doing that, calling the plays on defense makes it where Parsons doesn't have to do that. He can really play freely. And Patrick says he has played his A off all this year.
All year.
And I think you'll sign him again, and hopefully he keeps that up because he's very valuable to your defense. I believe that is it for the wild card wrap up here. We're gonna go ahead and head over to headlines of the week, which we don't have very much, but. And it's funny because we've already kind of mentioned both of these. Chargers fire their offensive coordinator Lombardi after playoff collapse. What
should have been Brandon Staley, but okay.
Yeah, is this a scapegoat? I mean,
100%.
Staley's career is he's 19-16 as a record. All right, that's not good enough with the talent you got. Is it too young? Is it too young in his career to fire him? It's their first playoff berth since 2018, and you blow a 27-point lead. If I'm the Chargers, I fire Staley. I go all in on getting Sean Payton. You have the quarterback. You have the team. You have talent. This team is talented. You have wide receivers. You have a good defense. You've got talent. You're missing something. And Sean Payton could bring you the winning culture you need. Now, that being said, I think the Saints are kind of holding Sean hostage because they're asking for a first and 2 threes for a coach. And if I'm a organization, I am not paying that. That is way too high for him.
It limits where he could go because, like, Miami doesn't have a first-round pick. A couple other teams don't have first round. The Rams don't have one. Like all these, like and if you're Houston, you're not giving up the number 2 pick to get Sean Payton. You're not giving up the number 2 overall pick.
Yeah, they say they called him up. If I'm Sean Payton, I'm not even answering Houston's phone call. I talked to Jeff, as I said earlier, the other host on the show. He's a big Broncos fan. He said there's big word that Broncos are really interested in him. They have the money to pay him.
But that's number 5. You're going to give up the number 4 or 5. Oh, I don't know.
No, they have San Francisco's pick, so it's going to be a low pick. Okay. Jeff said they're looking for a low to mid
mid to low round first.
So that would be okay. He said he's fine with it, but and the Walton family he said there's some connection between Sean and the ownership group there. So that would be a great fit if he thinks he can turn around Russell Wilson. But if I'm the Chargers, I don't know. I would probably go all in. He's going to bring a winning culture for you. I just don't know.
Staley just hasn't done anything.
There hasn't been a notable difference when he took over to now. Right. And look, 19 and 16, and I don't want to see a good quarterback be wasted because you wanted to hold on to a head coach for too long.
Phillip Rivers wasted a whole career there.
Yep.
He will not make the Hall of Fame because he didn't ever win. Yep. He had numbers that will make the Hall of Fame, but he'll never make it because he didn't win.
So I think Staley's got to go. I think they scapegoated the offensive coordinator, but there hasn't been any it factor, any change over from when he's there. And they've got this team. Is my thing is an ownership group. You go, we're too talented to not win. We're too talented to not compete for our division. And they are in a tough division. I'll give you that. You got the Chiefs.
But you picked them. You picked them to go deep into the playoffs.
I picked them to go to the championship game. And after this season, I said I picked the Jags to beat them in the first round because I've seen what they've done. I've seen the inconsistency. We've kind of talked about this too. The Bucks part ways with Byron Leftwich, offensive coordinator. There was such a drop off from last season to this year for the Bucks.
There was a lot of injuries on that offensive line. I mean, Jensen didn't play till last night, and they kind of patchworked it together, and it just never worked. Brady never had time. He never had deal. He showed his 45-year-old age, and I think he's probably going to show it everywhere he goes, but we'll see. But again, I think this is a scapegoat to keep the head coach on and allow him one more season. I think Tampa Bay was handcuffed by this whole thing because Brady forced their hand they weren't ready to part ways with Arians, and then Brady comes back and said, I'm not playing for him. And they were like, Bruce, you got to go. And by that point in time, he did it on OTAs. So basically everybody that would have been a viable head coaching candidate was already picked. So they had to go with what was on their elevated guy that was on their own staff. And I don't think that was the choice they wanted. And the offense just looked broken all year. This is a team who averaged 30 points a game for most of the season last year, and now they averaged 16 a game this year. And so I guess they're blaming Leftwich, and they're going to scapegoat him and go on about their deal. Oh, also, I just read that the Cowboys have officially said they will not bring anybody else in. Brett Maher will be the kicker for the 49ers game.
Yeah, I think that's the right call. You have one bad game. You've been solid all year. Then you got to roll with them. We have we all have bad days.
If he misses the first one, you're just going for two the rest of the game.
Yeah,
that's just all there is to it.
You just hope it don't come down to the game-winning field goal and he shanks it, and then you're going, oh my gosh. But I don't think it'll come down to that. But all right, Craig. Well, before we toss it over to you for your hat trick here, let's get your little intro video.
Basically, the NHL, we're almost at the All-Star break, and we have some things that are as expected and some things that are not. Connor McDavid is, again, probably the best player in hockey. But in a very, very surprise
Who does he play for, by the way?
I want to say the Oilers, but hold on. No.
I mean, throw a wrench in.
Yeah.
The Oilers?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, Edmonton. He plays for Edmonton. But Jason Robertson has had a season and a half in Dallas. Here's a kid who had 49 goals last year, and he already has 30 or 29, I think, now, and he's got another 30 assists to go with it. The kid is just on fire. He had a smoking start to the season. He had an 18-game streak where he had at least 1 point or more. Dallas is they barely make it last year as a wild card, and they are tied with Winnipeg right now for the 1 seed in the Central. And the team that has been surprising is your defending Stanley Cup champs. They are right now, if the season ended today, they're not going to make the playoffs. And Cade McNamara was hurt. And he's still hurt, I think. And I guess he is the thing that makes that go. They had McKinnon and McCarr, and McCarr is hurt. And I guess McKinnon can't do it on his own. I mean, those were two guys at the start of the season that were in for the MVP, and they were kind of take votes from each other. That's why Colorado's so good. And they just don't it was a lower hockey's so weird because it's a lower body injury, and so you don't even know what it is. Did he tear an ACL? Did he? Who knows? But right now the Colorado Avalanche are 22-17-3. They have 47 points, and they're 4 points out of a playoff spot. Winnipeg and Dallas are tied at 59. Minnesota's got 52, but the biggest surprise are the Vancouver or Vegas Golden Knights at 58. They're leading the Pacific, and the Seattle Kraken, who are an expansion team last year, have 56 points, and they're right on the heels of being the 1 seed. But I'll tell you right now, the best team in hockey, bar none, and that is the Boston Bruins. The Boston Bruins have played 43 games. They are 34-5-4.
It's pretty good.
They have 70. They have 72 points, and we are to the All-Star break. They have 44 games or 39 games left. They have 39 games left, and they have 72 points already. To put it in perspective, Colorado won the President's Trophy last year at and had the 1 seed overall at 108, I think, or 110, and they got 72 right now.
Jeez Louise.
I mean, let's put it this way: they're first. The team next to them is 26-11-7 and has 59 points. They are clear by 13 points of anybody around them. I mean, anybody. And they are just they're going to be extremely tough to beat. Barring a cataclysmic injury, the Boston Bruins are going to be very tough to beat. Pittsburgh's trying to put one last hurrah together with Sidney Crosby and all these guys that are been in the league forever, and they're holding on to the last wild card spot. The Capitals are right there at 54 points. Alex Ovechkin got his 800th goal. He's trying to catch Gordie Howe for the most goals. The bottom line is he's the best player. Connor McDavid might catch him one day, but Alex Ovechkin's the best player to maybe ever play the game. The guy has been. I was very happy that he finally got his cup a couple years ago, and because he just somehow they would win the President's Trophy every year and then get in the first round of the playoffs, and they would be like the San Diego Chargers, and they'd somehow just
Charger it up.
And so it was nice to see him finally get his cup, and he's coming to the end of his career, and I think he's just trying to pass Hal for the most goals ever, and he got 800 earlier in the year, and that is absolutely a milestone that you didn't think would be obtainable. So, it says Connor McDavid is having the best statistical season and one of the best in recent memory. He has 83 points already himself. He has 37 goals and 46 assists in 45 games.
He has how many goals?
37 goals and 46 assists. And to put that into perspective, he has 37 goals and 47 assists. And Jason Robertson, who is leading Dallas, has 29 goals and 31 assists. And 60 points. And Connor McDavid has 84. I mean, Jason Robertson is having the season of a lifetime, and he can't hold a candle to Connor McDavid right now. The guy is the best player in hockey. Ovechkin might be the best player to ever play the game overall in a 20-year time span, but Connor McDavid is absolutely next level, and so.
I was at Pluckers on Saturday, and I just went paintballing. Went to Pluckers, and the Dallas Stars was on. I was like, sweet.
Yeah.
And I looked, they're down 2-1. I looked down at my menu and I looked back up, and they're down 4-1. I was like, holy crap. And I said, hey, I got to go to the bathroom real quick. Go to the bathroom and come back at 6-1. I said, what is going on? Yeah. I texted you, said, what is happening? Well, their backup goalie was in, and I said, okay, that makes more sense. We ended up losing 6-5.
6-5.
Back.
Yeah.
Came back.
And that is the MO of the Dallas Stars. They're never out of a hockey game. Multiple times where I've seen them come back from 3 and 4 goals down to tie it, or 3 and 4 goals to win it, and they're never down. Now, why Ottinger wasn't playing that day, I have no idea. They have a very weird schedule. They play home game, and then they go on the road for one and come back for a home, and then they go on a road, and it's really weird. They're on a West Coast trip right now. They just played Vegas. They beat them 4-0. Yeah, they play San Jose tomorrow. Then they play the Los Angeles Kings, and then they come home on Saturday and play Arizona. So right there's a stretch. They should be able to put some wins together and be okay. But this team is playing better defensively. Ottinger's playing very well in goal. Jason Robertson is having the year of his life. Rupe Hentz was on fire, and he's out with an injury. He's missed. So Sagan has been playing in his spot as the center on the opening line. That's worked pretty well. But Jamie Benn's having a much better year. And some of the young kids are really coming to thing. Kiwi Ranta and the rookie, the 19-year-old, he came up and started hot, and he's faded some, but Johnston, he's but he's young. But that's the thing, is the Stars have a very, very good coming up a lot of top line stars in their thing, so they're going to be good for a long time to come.
And this coach seems to have them
more
energized.
He does. So. He doesn't let these guys. He keeps them accountable. He holds them accountable. They went up and up to Canada on a Canada trip, and he held a practice outside on a rink outside and made them go outside and deal. And he just said, he goes, you don't get this opportunity very often, so I took it and build some team chemistry. And they're out there skating around on the frozen pond and getting some work in. So we'll see. They're 26-12-7. The problem with the Dallas Stars is where they have been faulty this year is overtime. They have 7 overtime losses, and so that is a season's worth in 40 games. So when they go to overtime, 3-on-3 is not their forte, and it should be. They're pretty fast, and but the other night, you talk about a heartbreaker. They have the New York Rangers. And with 0.9 seconds, less than a second, the Rangers score, and then a minute and 16 into overtime they score. And so a minute and 17 seconds, the Stars led the entire game, and in a minute and 17 seconds they lose the hockey game. They did get 1 point out of the deal, but man, you come 0.9 seconds from getting 2 points and shutting the team out, and then come back and let them win. It's painful. So. That's about all I got. We'll have some more in the upcoming weeks when football season's over, and we'll get into it more regular in the second half of the season and start talking playoffs and start filling in who's gonna be the leader for the Vespa and who's gonna be the leader for the President's Cup and MVPs and all that stuff, the Hart Trophy. So we'll have all that here once January and February and March come along. So,
all right, Craig, I appreciate that. All you hockey fans out there, Craig is our hockey guy on the show. So I look forward to that. Now, that is going to be the show, guys. We recap the WildCard weekend. It was a pretty good weekend of games. We got a good weekend of games coming up this weekend as well. Jeff will be back. Our other host will be back, not this Friday, the Friday after next, but he is working on some more graphics. He's working on some different things. So he's going back to a job where he actually has time to do those things and enjoy life a little bit. And that's why he hasn't really been on the podcast, is because he's been working and working and working. He's got an hour drive to work one way. So it's been fun for him, but he'll be back next Friday, not this week, but next Friday. So stay tuned this week for we'll give you a breakdown and predict these week's games coming up over the weekend and any headlines that might break in between. We hope you have a great rest of your week. God bless, and remember,
keep it outspoken.